Hello, hello, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. Today we're going to work on this Trifold Tuxedo Pocket that I saw Barbara at 49 Dragonflies make about 3 years ago. So this was my rendition of it. I'll give you a look through here in just a second after the sneaky peek. And it's it's a very versatile pocket because you can make it any size. She shows all these different ways to do it, and I will link that down in the description box. Plus, she gives the provenance, I think they call it, of where she saw it done. So anyway, here we have a fold out that I've done. And like I told you, she loves her birds. Let me scoot this over. And what it is a piece of file folder. You can see the manila. I kind of tried to ink it, but you can still see it. Here I have a double pocket with just some different things from old paper pads I was trying to use up, but I thought it was a double pocket. Yes, it is. It is a double pocket. It's just tight. I put a rose coming out of this flower pot that I drew, and these two guys go in here. Over here, I think this is just a decoration. I have a little piece of lace here. This was an insert from out of a frame that I had. This is another frame that I cut down. So you can see how different things that you could use that you got, pieces and parts to make something like that. Then over here we have this side, which I gave the semblance of a beehive with all of these. I have a punch that punches out that size. And so I made that. I've got a raindrop, like a hole punch, the old-fashioned hole punches. They used to have those. So I made some raindrops, and there's my big bee. His little hive is right there. And I did a flower. And here was another flower circle. Here is a tag. And these two tags I made just by putting strips on a piece of paper. And here's one of those seed packet cards. And so, you know, you see you can just out of your scraps and stuff make so many different things. I don't think I'm gonna get that back in there. And then we have this one, which is the same concept. It's just got the stripes on it. I found the word butterflies, another seed packet, and we have that. I'll tuck those back in a minute. And then you flip it over here. Well, I'm showing all kinds of stuff. You flip it over here, and it's an actual tuck. And there's the beehives again. I have some bee digitals where I got that. And, yeah. So that part of the file folder is just tucked down like that. Well, it's glued here, and possibly along the edge there. So, I don't know if you would like to see how I made that. It's not too hard. It's just like one side of a file folder, and I cut all the the little sticky out parts and rounded the corners and stuck it in there. So, I mean, it's up to you. I know you you usually like to see anything I do with the sneaky peek because you've probably not seen it before, or it's so old nobody's seen it, that kind of thing. All right, let me throw this back in here, and that'll mark it for my next show. So this is my favorite paper pad of Stamperia. I love purple. And I thank everybody for coming to see me and for seeing what I'm getting up to today. And I hope you enjoy this and get to making some of these little trifold pockets. They're very pretty. Well, this one didn't because it's got bugs all over it. But, I mean, you can use any kind of paper. That's why I want to beautify it today with this Provence. And I haven't pulled anything out of here. I did cut one of the papers back here to get a few gewgaws, And this is the paper I have chosen because it's nice and neutral. You can see it's just got dots on that side, and it's got this on this side. I am going to do a little stamping like I did with this one. And let me open this one back up and show you. I've got a Velcro dot there holding it shut. Plus this little piece, this tag, holds this flap down. Plus I've got a couple more little pieces in here. And it folds up. And this was just scrap I had, so I'll put it under there. And you can write on that. Plus, this goes back in here and holds that down in a way. If I wanted to firm the tag up a little more, it would hold it down even flatter. And I've got the same situation on this side. Two more little tag pieces, and then that to hold this down. It's also got the little strips of scrap that I had left over. And then inside we have our snails and a few other bugs. This is the ladybug one. So I made this the 3 pockets. This has like a round one in it. And then these 2 have the journal card in it. I didn't put it in this one because I didn't want it to stick up and hinder my collar flaps. I call them collars because that's what it looks like to me. And then you turn it over and you have this big one on the back. So it's a one-page wonder, in case you're wondering. Oh my. Okay. So we need at least 2 big journal cards, possibly. I have a couple of these things to put in the front here, and we will get to it. There's a third one. Okay. Anyhow, I'm going to set that to the side over here. I'm going to flip through here and let you see what's in this beautiful paper pad, and then we're going to get to cutting things out. Now, don't forget, you can always use all of these gorgeous things, especially that. I love this. And there's the page that it's on. And this is a pretty, almost like a what do you call it, a wallpaper kind of a design to me. But this is just so pretty. I think I'm going to make something out of that. I got to get to it though. Get it fermenting in my mind, you know. But we're going to use a whole row of these, probably this row right here, to go in our little piece. And of course, you can see on the back they've got something there where you can actually journal on them. This one's sort of an overall, and you could use it for just about anything, but it's a mishmash. It's kind of like really loud. This one's very pretty. I love the crackle. And here's your lavender down here. And it also has a pretty like wallpapery style background. This one, you know, all of these, you can use them for like a base. And they'd be a perfect base for what we're doing today. Because they're kind of like, they're like non-directional is what she says you want to use. I would call that non-directional. A wood. That one, hold off on. But this mishmashy one, I think that one would be free reign to use for what we're doing today. Then you have a image of big focals here that you can use on anything that are sort of like a journal card. So you use them as you see fit. You have trims here that you can use. You have 4 tags, 2 small items, and whatever those things are. And it has a script on that one. And then we have, this is the page I've cut some stuff out of. And I kind of left it so you can see what the page looked like. These are 2 little books. So we're going to use those on the front of our, I done buried it, on the front of our paper here to hold our flap down. That's what those 2 are going to be. Plus these 2 little guys are going to be some kind of a pocket front for our pockets somewhere. I'm thinking about cutting that out as well. And then these also have like where you can write on the back of them. So they're either way. You use either side. And then we have our back paper. So that's what we're getting into today. I'm going to set the little pieces aside until I get to cutting them out. Now what we're wanting to do is, and she shows it like you don't have to measure at all. But I measured a little bit. But this is a 12 by 12. So if you fold it, you can fold it where it's 4 and 4. Now you don't have to measure it or anything, but you can do it that way. I did a I made it a slightly less than 4 on the front 2 covers, just so they wouldn't, you know, kind of hit each other. So my back is actually like 4 1/4. If you wanted to measure it that way, then you're safe on your score lines and nothing's going to hit each other. So let me go over there and score that. It's also only 7 inches tall. Now she made one. I'm doing it from a 12 by 12, so mine's slightly different. I don't think she showed that style. Hers was from a digital piece of copy paper. She printed on both sides, and that's how she did hers. Well, I'm cutting mine down, and what I cut off down here is becoming these pockets, inside and out. So you got a bigger one in here, and you got a smaller one out there. All right, so let me get this scored and cut off. Okay, so if you didn't know which way, where to score exactly to get your 4 1/4 section in the middle, this is 3 3/4 score line, and then 8 inches score line. And that will give you just the right amount of fold over. And let me get my bone folder, get that working. So you do that. And you can see this is very non-directional on the back. Very non-directional. And then the easy part after that is to fold this down. Now she used copy paper, which is more malleable. I'm trying to use a big word here, you know. But yeah, it bends more, but this one will be a little bit more sturdy. And you can see why I went ahead and left that in the face up version. So I would get it to come out here as well. So you kind of look at your paper and see what you want to be on your front and what you would rather be on your back. There we go. Now that part's done. And oh, look at that. Okay. So now is our part about putting in the pockets. And these pockets on the front are, let me see. They are about 1 1/2, and the inside pockets are 2 1/2. So I'm going to go over there and cut those. And remember, we're going to cut these a little bit less than what our sections are. So the middle one was 4 1/4. So you're going to cut it maybe 1/8 less on all of our different places. And I will be right back. Okay, I lowered this so it was a little closer to our working area. So I've got that cut at 7. That was 12 inches. I've got the flaps down. I took that strip that I cut off at this base down here, and I've cut out my different pockets. Of course, the one is bigger because it goes in that center section. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to cut all these together where I want the hole punch. But you don't have to do it that way. Whoop, it worked though. They went everywhere. So I need to do that with the smaller one. And it as well has one longer piece because of our center. Do that with a little thumb pull. That's just to kind of give them an idea of it being a pocket. There's not a big variation in my colors here. So we have to kind of get creative, I guess. So these are the front ones. So, of course, you don't want to use that one. You might want to use this one. And boy, I cut that down a little bit more than I wanted to, but so be wary of your cut on your pocket. Anyhow, so I think we're going to use some of my favorite, you know, the ground espresso, to try to pull that out just a tad, because it's getting lost. Now, if you wanted to use 2 different papers that complement each other, I'm doing the wrong side, and complement each other, then you can do that, and it would work out great. And then you have a variation in your colors, but you know they're going to work with each other because they're from the same paper pad. And they do that on purpose, which thankfully they do, because it helps your tones. It's in the same color story as they described it. I know if you've been in art or anywhere where you're trying to match a color up, like a paint color for a wall, something like that, it is rough. I'm doing the wrong side. I want the dots there, sorry. So you know what's what. I mean, there are blues that have purples in them. You got blues that have greens in them. The same thing for reds. You know, you got so many red. So it's one of those matching games, and you just have to look out. Goodness gracious. Well, I was talking about provenance, I think is the proper word, provenance, at the very beginning, about where Barbara at 49 Dragonflies got the idea for her tuxedo pocket. And that word is also used when doing genealogy. And if you have a photo, if you get like a really old photo, you want to know where it originally came from. It really helps you in the end because it helps figure out the family, that you're on the right track, if what they say is true, because there are so many, there are so many on Ancestry and stuff where they've said it's so-and-so. And I know it's not because I've went and seen the actual photo, or I've had a closer family member that is in that line and knew exactly who it was, that kind of thing. So it helps you in the end with proof, I guess is what it basically boils down to. So it's always a nice thing to have. And gosh, there's so many people that try to get into the DAR. I've had some people trying to see if I had any records and such that might help them. Got a little dot there, didn't want. And you know, it's really hard to find some older records. I have looked out and stumbled across a death in a deed because a lot of times when somebody passes away and they haven't already deeded that land to someone in the family or sold it, they will have a deed that is taken, possibly the mother, if she's the one that's the survivor, that she's selling, or she and all the children are selling. I love those deeds because you get to, you get to find out all the kids. You also get to find out who they married because they'll list the white or the daughter's married name. I wanted to say maiden. Sorry, I kept stumbling over that. Yes, they'll mention the daughter's married name, and sometimes they'll list the husband. So you luck out big time that way. Yeah, so digging in deeds, that's one of my favorite things. We have found so many things for Kermit. That's that little town we go to and do our thing at, and that's basically the town. That was the big town, you know, like Chicago or something. To someone else, that is actually the big town over there, or it was back in that day. And that's where they'd go to the store, or to buy something like a dress, or, you know, something the mom and pop stores did not have. Because up all these creeks, you had what they called a mom and pop store. And it was just a little store somebody had in their front yard, a little shed. Could be their garage, who knows. But they would have just basic stuff in there, like sodas, drinks, and candy, and chips, maybe that kind of thing. They never had anything like, meat or anything in a refrigerator, unless they were a more well-to-do store, because other people couldn't afford that over there. Oh, slid that. Okay. Now, what we want to do, I'm going to pin this up. Now, the way the pattern or the paper is here, I don't have to worry about covering that because you can write all over this. If you so choose to do, writing on it, I think we're good. Now, the part we want to do next is maybe a little bit of stamping, just to give it some interest. Now, I did a script stamp on here, and of course it's upside down on that one. But I may want to do that with these. Though I did choose this one and this one to be the pretty little focal on the front of these two here. So I don't need anything for those two. The back one, maybe. This whole back needs help. There's nothing on it. So we're going to fold this all the way out. And I'm going to get in here. And we're going to look at some of those stamps that I used the last time for that one, because they're gorgeous. It's Lorna at Tailor Made Journals. I think she's on Instagram. She may have a YouTube, I'm not sure. But I think she's also on Etsy. Yes, she's on Etsy. But she has all these gorgeous ones. I've only gotten a few so far. I'm kind of, you know, I'm kind of picking and choosing which ones I like. This is a Paris one, which is gorgeous. And then she came up with this one that had, she brought them out of the vault, she said. And they're these old ones. This one's Mercantile. This one's General Store. This one's Apothecary. So you know those spoke to me. This is Laundry. I love that. This is Antiques. It's gorgeous print as well. And Vintage Market. So look her up on, especially Instagram or something, where you can kind of see what she's got, she's had in the past, or what she's got coming up. She comes out with one maybe once a month, I think. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to actually put these on a stamp block, but you can peel the paper off and put them on one if you chose. But I'm just going to do a light kind of a stamping. Let me see if I can get this down and this up where we can see everything. And I think I'll do the Vintage Market up on this one. And yeah, I might have to do some more re-inker, but I don't want a dark print. Let's see how that turns out. See what we got. We just want something to draw our eye. Oop, it's a little on the lighter side, but it's there. Let's see who's next. We got Antiques. And I could actually go over there. Maybe I can just rub it. Let me rub it, because I think I get more on there that way. Yeah. And let's try Antiques down here. Although that might not be visible, that's okay. When you take your card or tag or whatever is in this pocket out, you'll see it. Oh, yeah, I can still see it. And I'll clean those later. We have Laundry. We want to get the laundry one in here, since this is actually a tuxedo. You see what I'm doing there? You see what I'm doing? Actually, I'm going to go over here and grab me another ink pad, because I don't feel like it's coming out that much. Okay, I've got this London Fog Dewdrop one. We're going to try that. We're going to see if we can get... Oh yeah, I see a lot. I see a lot of ink coming out on that one. That might just be what we need to do. Oh, I didn't get it all over there. Do that. Let's see what we got over here on this side. There we go. Oh yeah, much better, much better. And we're going to redo these real quick, because it's not enough to read that you can even see it. So I don't think we'll hurt a thing. Okay, our Vintage Market's right up here. I don't think it's going to matter if I'm right on the top of it. It might look like a drop shadow. Yep, like a drop shadow. Exactly. Okay, here's our Antiques. Since this doesn't have that much going for it, I think this is the better way to go. I mean, nothing visual to really look at. All right, so we got that. I keep looking at that, and it's kind of playing with my eyesight. Okay, and then we have an Apothecary, a General Store. Maybe I'll do one in here on the inside. Let's do General Store in here, or Merchandise. Let's do Merchandise. Yeah, I'll put that one right there. And I do need some on these pockets here, so maybe that's what we'll do. We'll see about putting, especially this one here. because that's kind of what I did on my other one. I never do the same thing twice. I was telling somebody, I think yesterday I was commenting, because I've got a 1,500 subscriber little journal giveaway kind of deal. Oh, I gotta show you that at the end. I got that finished. So anyhow, I was telling them I never can do the same thing twice. It's boring. I lose all interest. So I usually will try to do something else, just change it up in some way, shape or form. Oh, so that's what I usually will do. At one time, I tried to do 4 daisy journals. They all had about the same thing in them. All the fronts were different. And then there was, I think there was something different about some of the pieces inside. But anyhow, it was just, by that 4th one, I was about tired of it. So, anyhow, I have to try to make myself happy. So I can't really do the same thing twice. Even if I use the same digital, I don't do it the same way, or I change something up about it. So, you got to do what makes you happy, right? Oh. And, yeah. If it's something that makes you happy, and, you're not hurting nobody, no need to apologize. Just go about your business. Okay, the one plan I had to use those big squares didn't quite work because these 2 are too small for this to go into. So I have decided to cut out a couple of these little tags to take the place. I know they will fit, and they'll give more of a scene. Especially this one with this gorgeous jug on it. Oh my goodness. I told you the other day that I'm crazy about teapots. But I do like anything kind of antique. I'm not a collector of antiques. Like my sister, she's always finding something, and she's thrilled to walk around and touch all this old glass and figure out what it is. Hobnail, or she gave me a candy dish one time. They're all these different colors and names and such. Well, that's not my forte. Now you give me a graveyard, tell you what, I love me a graveyard. And when we first started doing we got a cemetery page on Facebook. It's Marbone and Jenny's Creek, Kermit, West Virginia history, I think is what it's called. We had to delineate where we were because Mingo County is like one of those long, narrow counties, kind of along the side of Kentucky. Well, we kept getting people asking us about all these cemeteries, like midway down and down near the base of it, and we just didn't do anything that far down, so we couldn't help them. So we kind of had to come up with a way of letting them know exactly where we researched, which was only at the top edge, because that's where our grandparents came from on both sides, mine and his. And I did round the edges a little bit on some of these. These are a little book. They're really cute. You can write inside of them, put you a few words. And then, with all these things you get, like a journal, or like this would make a perfect happy mail. It's not very thick, as you can see. And it would probably mail for a very low price. So it's something kind of interesting that you could have made up. Throw them in a gift card. Put it in an envelope. This is 4.5, I guess, by 7. So it's going to fit in most envelopes. All right. Let's fold this little guy in half and score him. and get him over here in his pocket. Well, no, we can't put him in his pocket yet because he's on the outside holding that one piece shut. Well, where did I score that one? I scored it way off. Way off. Now, if you don't have a scoreboard, you can do like me back in the day. And I would take a ruler. And I did have a score tool. I did have that. But I would take that ruler and I would lay it where I needed to go. And I go right down there like that. And that scores it. It doesn't take much. Yeah, you don't have to spend a lot of money on things to vamp out your... I gotta cut that. To vamp out your craft room. You could use, you know, things that you already had on hand. So, me, I'm retired. I had a little bit of money. I make a little money from my journal, so I'll put it back into craft supplies. And, you know, I enjoy that. Alright, I did need to ink that maybe a little bit just to get that white off the edge. And this one I've chosen for the back. I wanted something a little taller, so I picked this. I didn't seem to have any journal cards in this kit. Now, when I get a Stamperia, I will look for ones that's got all this ephemera with it. I always do. Now, this is where I want this. At the very back, like that. And then this little guy's going to be in front of him because it's not really anything there. Nothing interesting. So I like to tuck that there to give you something to see. And I like the idea of this there as well. Is it too long? Of course. Got about 1/8 of an inch off of there. Let's see. Let's see. I think that was about, yeah. So I want that there just for a little bit of visual. Where's my other fingers? There we go. And I did have a quote over here I picked out. And I thought to use it. Somebody gave me a bunch of quotes a while back. And I've used a few of them, at least half. But I've still got a whole bunch more. So I got to use them. And I picked this one that says, "Patience is the companion of wisdom." St. Augustine. And what it is you have to have a bit of patience when you work with crafting. You have to wait for something to dry, which Barbara at 49 Dragonflies is very vehement against. She's not one that likes to wait for anything to dry. Now, here's another little tip. Now, if you got a corner, keep rubbing it right on that corner, and it gets a it's almost like an old time effect, like the page has been touched there so many times by fingers it's smudged. That gives a cool effect. I haven't shown that yet, I don't believe, but I saw somebody do it. It's been so long I couldn't even tell you who, but that's a nice little thing to age up an item you're wanting to put in. You do use a letter and do that. Now, see how that turned out? I thought that was pretty neat. Now we got to find a place to put it. It's the other part. Well, I want to thank everyone who has subscribed to me over my YouTube history life here. It's been a while. I think it was in June of 2023 that I started doing, no, 22. June of 2022 is when I started doing videos. And I would just like to appreciate everybody who has stepped up and joined me and enjoy my videos and like to hear some crazy stories. I know the other day I went a little overboard with the sharing. But most of that was for my cousin Phyllis, because she was the shout out of the day, which brings me to the shout out for today. Let me get this down, and I will tell you who it is. Okay. All right, the shout out today is to Carol Beating. you have been with me quite a while and have really enjoyed my videos and have commented and liked and all those different things, and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I hope I keep putting out the type of things you enjoy seeing, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And another thank you for all my my watchers who put up with me and my many foibles. I've had to get over stage fright, and I've almost got that licked. I mean, I'm okay now on doing videos. I still forget words, and I still kind of stumble over words and that kind of thing. But I don't do any editing, so it is what it is. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't even know what to call what I do here. I don't know if this is considered a craft with me, if it's something else, a tutorial. I know I watch Laurette Chandler a lot, the vintage paper girl, and she's always telling them that she doesn't do tutorials or something. I guess a tutorial is when you give numbers or something, measurements, things like that. But she's forever saying that she doesn't do that. I'm going to do a little soft round on the tips of those. Right there. Yeah. So, thank you for watching whatever I do. Because I don't know what it is. I do want a little bit. Now, if you did not want to have this as a standalone, you can actually probably put this down on a page. She didn't do pockets. She actually folded hers over the way she did it with her copy paper size. And she only had outdoor pockets, outside pockets. I put them on the inside. So see, what I was meaning when I said I was making them my own and changing them around. Plus, I did mine from a 12 by 12 and not a 8.5 by 11. So here we go. These two little guys are going to go right here. And that looks really good with that green. I didn't even plan that. And then this one goes here in there. And see, those two are holding down those two flaps, which is great. That's exactly what I wanted. Now, in here is where these two little guys have to go, because there's no... The other items I had to choose from are not narrow enough. But that's good, because see, it clears this and it gives you a for you right there. I love this pot. I love this pot. I might not give it away. There was another Stamperia paper pad, and I was just loving it. And it was called Hortensia. And it had a gorgeous, gorgeous, almost a full frontal view of this woman's face. She looked like the Roaring 20s to me. Really, really old, with beautiful purples. And that's, of course, what drew me to it. It had these beautiful purple images and things on there. Now, I'm trying to figure out if I can use any of these other little scrappies. These three are the only ones I had left from this 12 by 12. So that's why it's a, a 12 by 12 one-page wonder. Now, with this one, easy enough. You can just make you a tag. And that's what we're going to do with this one. And it'll just be a little tag for somebody to put something on. Just to be in here for visual. I do need something in this middle pocket. I just noticed I don't have anything there. So we're going to go back in here and grab. I just stick the dots like right there. Yeah. Has some loud dots. Okay. Like I said, I'd cut some of these other ones up. Like right here. I like the one with the group of lavender. That's pretty. So we'll use that one in here. And it's got like a little dome on it too, which is really pretty. So, spit shine the edges. Spit shine, spit shine. Okay. Now, that one goes in here. And actually, that can hide the quote, and then you're surprised when you see it. Surprise! All right, what we got here? We got these 2 pieces left now. And so, they're not standoutish enough to really... they're just not standoutish enough, are they? To put them down here, but I need something. Let me look around for a minute. Okay, I found these little scraps from the last project I did, and we're going to use those. I need to cut this one down. I actually need to cut all of them down. I'm going to cover up a little bit of the wording. That's okay. You know, layering. Layering's the name of the game. So I'm going to get in here and cut that real good. And then we're going to get in here and cut this one. And we're going to just have like a little piece that goes straight across. And it's going to give your eye something else to look at. See if I can do that. Do I have enough for that side? Oh, yeah. Just enough. Let's see. I got a little crooked edge. There we go. Now, that's for each one of those. And let's lay them down and see what they look like. So you got little pops of green, and I thought that's what it needed. Now, what we need to do is figure out if that's the way we want to go. Maybe we want to just line it along the bottom. Yes, that looks so much better. Now see, play with your papers. See which way looks the best. Now see, I think that's good because that gives you a bottom line. And that really, really helps. All right, so let's glue that down. Where's my second fingers? Okay, there we go. And I'm not going to worry about any inking. It's going to speak for itself, right? Yeah. See, I have another little fold-out thingy that I kind of came up with it. I was watching somebody with something, and I got to thinking, what if I did this to it, and did that to it, and made it sort of a fold-out that actually would tuck into itself. And it's also pretty thin, the paper I put it on. So that will be your next fold-out to see. And I'll have that up here pretty soon. A lot of people were wanting to see this tuxedo fold. So I wanted to get that out to you here. Since yesterday's video wasn't really all that, because I was creating that book for the subscriber giveaway. And I really didn't even get it finished, did I? I don't know why it takes forever. When you're online or on video to get from point A to point Z, you know. Okay, so we are... Oh, no, we can't cap yet because we've got to glue down our closure. Now, I got these sticky backed. They were $8.47 when I bought it, which was like last year, I think. Anyhow, they're general purpose, but I thought somewhere it told me they were extra sticky, which they are. They stick really good. Now, if you don't want to spend the money to get a what do you call it? I'm trying to think in glue. The magnetic dots. That's what I was trying to think of. If you don't want to go into any money for the magnetic dots, then these are your next best thing. And you can use these things on anything. They're just, you know, they're well-rounded. Now, what I'm going to do here is pop that on the top right there. Try to get it to stay. Put a few dots of glue. And we are done. Now, what I'm going to do is fold this shut. Oh, crap. It's going to hit my... it's going to hit my button. Or my... Well, it is what it is. It is what it is. Maybe it's mostly in that white section. Oh, yeah. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Now, you can get in here with a little bit of ink if you wanted. And try to dull this where it's purple. And put a little bit of purple behind it. Let me see if I can. I have this one It's called Sweet Plum. Let's see if it'll work. Yeah, see, it dulls it just a little bit. Get your tip down in there if you can. Yeah. Over here, I'm not going to mess with it because the white, I don't think that's as visible. But see, now that's kind of plain. Let's see, see if it transfers. Ooh, no, not too bad. We'll leave it open to dry. All right, so this is what we ended up with. We got our little booklets in here that hold down our flap, which you can go under and write on. You can write in here. These would be perfect little guys to send somebody for happy mail. You can write on here what it is. Maybe they love flowers and you needed something to send them that's flower oriented. Now the little bit of stamping really goes a long way, doesn't it? I really didn't do nothing else to that but stamp it. We got that pretty there, and you pull it up and you got a little bit of wisdom to look at. And then we have our 2 tags, which are very pretty as well. It's just, this paper is just lovely. I love it. Okay. Then we have on our back is this one, which has a little bit more stamping. Of course, that one did too. I didn't point that out, but you probably saw me doing it. And this little dode that you can put a picture on. Oh, look, it's even like a little postcard back here. How cute. That's the side we need put out. That's the side that needs to be out. Okay. And then we have this with the Provence. Florence de Provence, France. That must be a place, right? That's like a location or a district or whatever they call that. All right, so let's go and look at what I got completed for our 1,500 subscriber journal. I'm always trying to finish my sentences. Okay, so I got this tied in. Now over here, I did some foundry wax on one of these silver clips, or else pewter or something. I've got a little crown, which actually it was 2 of them, so I glued them both together with some fabric tack, and they're together. But I used 2 colors of the foundry wax, mine and gilded, I believe, to color this up. So it was really close in colors to this. Now, it's a little gator mouth, not much. You might not even need that. So what I wanted to do was, instead of you clamping it onto here constantly, and maybe cutting a hole in there eventually, I did like 2 or 3 layers, like I do for the policy closure button, of this brown, and I just stuck it on there. So that's where this is going to actually rest when you put it together now, and it's not going to hinder your cover that much. It's going to give it strength. See, I was a little off on the gluing of that one, but anyhow, it's homemade. All right, so we have our pretty washi tape in here for the spine, and I did get in here and just a little bit, I was able to maneuver it to get maybe 1/8 of an inch spine on there. It's not much. Now, this piece I told you I wanted to use desperately, I did get it in there as a belly band. So it's just a very thin little belly band. And then I put this little guy down here for a tuck, which would hold that. Not easy to get something into that, but there we go. And then that can slide under here. That's a journal card. Most of these are from Dark Academia. All these things I've got. I love that gilded look because it went with the cover, which was part of that paper pad as well. Here's the beautiful butterflies. And I did a little bit of stamping. This is that tea bag lined paper. I just took the tea bag itself after I got all the grounds out of it and laid it on here. And that's how I got that design. And then this was crossed, I think it was called, one of the Tim Holtz stencils. I thought it went with the old world look. Here was a lot of journaling space, a little bit more like a trademark paper. Here's got 1891 on it. Half of these are mine, and half of these are that one kit I was telling you about. What did I tell you was called? I told you in the other video. I'm sorry. I did ink around here where I printed this incorrectly. It fed through the wrong way, but I fixed it. Here's that pretty mica spray. It's always really pretty to see the mica on a page. And this was actually a tablecloth, one of those vinyl tablecloths from we called it oilcloth way back when I worked in fabrics and crafts at Walmart. But it was on that 54-inch roll, and you rolled off however much you wanted of it. But there was this one, and people would actually get this. Can you see the little, it's the little tiny dotted holes that were all through this, and people used to buy this from me to do cross stitching. They'd make coasters with it because there were these little squares all over it. And then it had like a little lace design on the outside edge. Here was another one of the stencils I used in here. It's like old world writing. So I thought that went with it as well. Okay, I placed this pocket in here. It's just a plain tag just to use up that piece of paper. And then I have this with the lion on it. That's, I know it's not very, I got a little piece of paper there. It's not very, off color, you know, but anyhow, it'll get the job done. Now I put a rub on here. It has memories. I was going to put it here, but it wouldn't quite fit, and I didn't want to cover up this pretty little scrolly design that was on that tag. I like that. And then we have this page, which was the wax seal envelope situation kind of page. I put a small thing here with this world, so that went with the cover. And it's got one of those candles. When you put it all the way down in here, you just see the candle. And I thought that worked if you're writing in the old days. And here's that. I didn't put too much in here. I wanted it mostly to be a writing journal. That's the one that messed up on me. So you can see it kind of ate it. I thought, well, this dark over here will combat that, which this black is supposed to kind of go with this black. Another rub-on and some more stenciling. And then we have more stenciling here. And then we have the back, which is kind of interesting. I've got this little tiny bead. It's a little metal flower bead at the end. It looks sort of like the old-fashioned stuff. And this is my policy closure for here. So this is glued on totally. It's not a pocket or anything. And I did a little stencil of the cross there. Then you've got the voyage, which you saw me do on the video. Then down here we have, I did some of these brads. And then I've got the 105. Now, I didn't have a 150, which would have been perfect because that would have been like for 1,500. So I've got I've still got the 1 and the 5 in here for the 1,500 subscriber. Now, this was from some other paper pad that I was using up that was Stamperia. And it had this little opening here for something. And I had a suitcase from my porch prints. One little suitcase left over. Since this was about travel, I put it here. And it fit. Now on the bottom, as you can see, was the stamping we also did the other day when I was showing you the beginnings of the journal. And here's 2 pockets, which you can fill with anything. I put this here in case you want to put a name or what this is. This will also have something on it. Up here is a key, which if you know me, I love keys and locks. So, and this was another little piece of paper I was just trying to use up. So, there we go. That is the 1,500 subscriber journal. And you just go back through here like this. Weave it around and let it dangle. And then, remember what this was? It was a Kroger's flyer ad. And this is what we made with it. And then you put this right on here to hold it shut. Like I said, if you don't like it, you don't have to have it. But I thought the colors went really well together there. All right. And I didn't want to mess with this. I didn't want to cover it. It kind of blends in. So I was happy with how that worked out. Plus, it kind of matches that. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope everybody is having a great day and a healthy day. And I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.